Well, hello there. I assume you're here to join me on my journey into 3D printing, in particular resin printing. Now, to me, printing has always been a little intimidating, lots of technical and mechanical things to learn, and I'm not one that likes to endlessly fiddle with machines. But the lure of the great things to print is like a siren's call to a crafter and miniature collector like me. So I acquired my Elegoo Mars 2 Pro, and I began my journey into 3D resin printing. Come with me now, and I will tell you my joys as well as my trials and tribulations. As one who is intimidated by technical things, imagine my joy when I unpacked my Elegoo Mars 2 Pro and found that there really was no assembly required. The machine was essentially ready to go right out of the box. The printer comes with some useful tools, but you will soon find that there is a lot more you will need to do this hobby successfully, and I will pepper these throughout the vid. You attach the build plate to the arm, then you level the plate by setting it home on the control panel. You set the distance from the screen with an easy procedure involving a piece of printer paper. Easy peasy. A nice little trick I learned to keep the miniatures from sticking to the clear film in the resin vat is to treat the film with PTFE lubricant. Just apply it with a microfiber cloth and let it dry for a few minutes. Although the film has excellent non-stick qualities, this is an extra precaution to avoid the models sticking to the film instead of the plate. And while we're on the subject of the microfiber cloth, make sure you use these to clean the clear film. If you use regular paper towels, it will quickly cloud the film with micro scratches. I learned this the hard way. Now you just install the vat, pour in the resin, and you're ready to go.
Ooh boy, does resin stink. The first thing you should get is a decent respirator. You don't want to be breathing those fumes. As the technology is advanced, though, resins are being released with less odor, but from what I've uncovered, you still need to wear a respirator. Don't compromise your health for your hobby.
The resin is not only stinky, but a skin irritant, so wear gloves. You can use these medical throwaway gloves for ease of use. Another aspect of 3D printing you should be prepared for is managing your print files. You'll have to use a program called a slicer to organize models onto the build plate. You then slice the models to code them for printing to your specific machine and save them to a thumb drive for delivery to your printer. There is that magical moment as you hold your breath when the build plate clears the vat and you can see the model is being built. A sigh of relief that all this hassle and mess is yielding results. Now the build plate is fairly small and not great for terrain, but it works for miniatures, and let me tell you, there are tons of miniatures online that you can print. The great thing about this is if you're wanting a certain type of look for your miniatures, some creator probably has you covered. I also love that you can scale miniatures up or down depending on your need, and that is a super useful ability. Cleanup is quite a chore as you can't just use water. You need isopropyl alcohol, commonly called IPA, and preferably the 99%. One little trick I discovered to make cleaning prints easier is this pickle container that has an inner basket that you can pull out with a handle. I agitate the basket in the IPA and I get a nice clean model. There are more expensive options, but I have found that the pickle jar works great. I learned to not harden the models before you take any supports off. Supports are used to hold up the model while it's being built on the plate and are needed for some models. If you harden the supports in the UV light, it makes them brittle and they can actually break off pieces of the model you don't want to come off. So make sure you take them off before you finish exposing the model to UV light. The last thing you need to do is finish hardening your models under a UV light. This is a must-have item, so keep this cost in mind when you purchase your printer. Woohoo! And then ta-da! The model is finished. Seems like a lot of work and a lot of steps. Well, it is, but man, oh man, the prints from the resin printer look so fantastic. In my mind, they are as good as store-bought miniatures. For me, resin printing also puts to rest a huge problem with monster miniatures. Sometimes you just can't find enough of a particular monster for your encounter. Either the retailer doesn't have enough, or it will cost an arm and a leg to buy all the packs you need. With the printer, you can run it off as many as you want. Here is a beholder I printed that I love the look of. Get it, look? I also printed at a larger scale to be more intimidating to the players. This Hydra I modified from a print to be an undead Hydra. Just because you printed it doesn't mean you can't add or modify it like any other miniature. Sometimes a size change is required by the scale you're using. I created this spaceship using my terrain modules and populated it with army men-sized crew. It was an easy task to scale up the ship components to fit with the miniatures. These scenes utilize printed minis mixed with my handcrafted terrain. The detail on the minis is wonderful.
I hope my experiences gave you a good idea of what you're getting into when you decide to resin print. As I've said earlier, I love the detail you can get with the miniatures and models, but there is a monetary investment as well as space, time, and mess. But when you're set up and you have a good workflow, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. I really love my Elegoo Mars 2 Pro as my entry machine, and at this point I almost never have a failed print. I do have my own Amazon page that has all the extra supplies I've used in this video, so you don't have to scrounge around and look for them. If you use my links, it gives me a small kickback. As far as my other vids go, I have hundreds of other D&D crafting vids, and if you're looking for cool game adventures, check out Quest Givers. Have fun crafting, printing, and thanks for watching.